Well, we're getting ready for our trip. All the dogs are leashed up and ready to go. Elsa is in her little carrying case. Don't step on her, Maeve. And we're off to Delaware. First stop is always a Chick-fil-A. All right, so we finally made it to our room. Got off the airport, took a 15-minute shuttle. The bathroom was awesome. Really cool photo right there. The toilet is to the left in that corner. Big shower. It had 4 different shower heads, and then the cool little glass there that Kayley waved through. Huge room. We had our safe in here, robes, and everything else you could need. Just look at the size of this room. You got a nice soaking tub inside, big full-length mirror, huge TV, dresser where you can put everything, king-size bed, nice and firm. Right where our suitcases is, that's where the refrigerator is, so everything is hidden. Nice big patio with a swim-up pool and a giant soaking tub. Love that tub. Used that the first and second day. Got a fan outside, and this swim-up pool was awesome. So once you leave your room, you have this nice little hallway here. All these rooms, I think there's 10 on the first level that also share your swim-up pool. So it's a great place to meet other couples that are on their honeymoon or celebrating whatever they're at Sandals Resort to celebrate. I think this building is 4 or 5 stories. So to the left here, there's an elevator right behind that picture. This is the main walkway to get to your room, and this resort is absolutely huge because you have the Royal Barbados side, which is the side that we are staying on, and then you have just the regular Barbados side, so there's a lot to see. So there's the rest of the building. We did have a lot of people above us, but we never had any issues with sound or anything like that. There you go. You can see a little bit of the swim-up pool. I think I pan over to it in a second. And yeah, there you go. So you can see the swim pool. It is huge. You also have drapes there, so then if you are taking a bath, you can always pull those drapes shut. This was the first place we tried, which is Heart and Soul, and had great acai bowls. This is the Oasis bar, and it is right in front of our favorite breakfast spot, which was the greenhouse. It had amazing food, and I will show you that right now. Check this out. So in the greenhouse, that's a passion fruit juice and a fruit tray. And then I had a lobster omelet, and that is a French toast. Wasn't very good, but the avocado toast is amazing. Very, very good. If you love that kind of stuff, they have awesome avocado toast. This is the Oasis Pool, so just a full view of the pool. This pool is a lot more chill than any of the other pools. They have the Red Lane Spa kind of spa music going on in the background, so it's nice and relaxing. So you have the full pool here, and then over in the corner here you have the hot tub, or whatever you want to call it. Much warmer water. Don't think you really need it because it is pretty hot here, and then it just overlooks all of this Barbados greenery here, and it's a calm pool. This was by far our favorite swim-up pool. There are 2 swim-up bars, and this is one of them. This is where we spent most of our time. We got lunch from Neptune's this day, and it was absolutely delicious. This is the Caesar salad that Kayley got, and I got the fish sandwich, which was awesome. I got that 3 days in a row. They change out the fish every day. These are drinks that our girl Shanika made us. She was the best bartender. We absolutely loved Shanika. This is also the steak sandwich we got. We got Butch's the first night, but I failed and forgot to take pictures. So for our second night, we had cheese, which was very good. Asian food, or Asian fusion. Very delicious. Those are some soft shell crab bao buns and all kinds of different other appetizers that we ordered. They were delicious. That was an ahi tuna bowl and some sushi and unagi, which is eel. That was orange duck rice, and then Kayley got some noodles that were really good. And I finished off with a mango dessert. After eating at Cheese, we waddled our way over to our favorite restaurant in Sandals Resort, that is Soy, the sushi restaurant. You gotta watch your step walking up here. The sushi restaurant is right across from the hibachi. This little pond was kind of neat. They had some koi fish in there. You can't see them right now, but they were pretty active during the evening. And Soy was right here, so we waddled our way in and got ourselves some sushi. This was the main pool. They called it like kind of the party pool. Very, very large. It has the infinity going out towards the beach there. I will change the view so you can see what it looks like from the beach side, but very, very cool. Has its own bar up at the top. That is the infinity side. This is early in the morning, so that's why there's nobody in there. And this is Neptune's, where we got that awesome salad and fish sandwich. We ate here 3 days, or at least we had the butler bring us food from here. And right before we went to the airport, we actually got food to go from here. Wasn't intended to be on the go, but you got this nice view. This was the last day we were there. Ocean turning very beautiful again. They had a nice hot dog place with a lot of different variety, and the hot dogs were delicious, so we had to get one of those one day. This was the last hot dog flavor that they had, and as you can see, we loved it. This was the other swim-up pool. They had a volleyball net right there. The beach is right behind it. This is the second swim-up bar pool. And we also had lunch from Mariners a few times, and it was pretty good as well. This is another view of the pool with the swim-up bar right there. It is a double-decker, so there's places you can get drinks from the top and the bottom. This pool was actually out of commission when we were here. It has some steps over there where you can see it. I think that's so butlers can hop across and deliver your drinks. But that's the Red Lane Spa. Right here is Café de Paris, which is a coffee spot and crepes and all kinds of yummy food. This is the Monkey Pub, also pretty cool. We went there one night, but then it got a little crazy, so we got out of there. This is Butch's. This is where the steak is, and this was all right. I actually prefer the seafood and steak better. This is from Butch's Steak. I got some oysters, and don't remember what that was. That was some shrimp, and Kaylee got a mushroom soup. Surprisingly, the carrot cake was delicious. That was a creme brulee and some chocolate cake and Oreo cake. Then the next night, we ended up going to Bombay, which is their Indian restaurant, and that was delicious. This was one night that we spent up at the Sky Lounge just to check it out. Really cool, though. You can see a lot of the resort. That right there is the infinity pool and out near the beach. They do have a pool up here, so you have a sky pool, which is really cool, and a hot tub as well. You also have a bar and a French restaurant over in the corner. This is what it looks like during the day. So you can see just how big this resort is, and this is not even the full resort. This does not include most of Royal Barbados. This is just the regular Barbados side, or a combination actually. But you can see the tanning beds, everything up here, and the bar. Really cool. This was by far one of our favorite things. We ended up coming to Lover's Lane one night with one of the couples that we met, Jonathan and Stephanie. Shout out to Jonathan and Stephanie, but this was an absolute blast. This is what it looked like on the inside. 4 lanes. Kayley absolutely destroyed me. The last game, her and Jonathan tied, but that's a cute couple picture. Then most mornings we actually ended up using this gym, and the gym is very well stocked and just was great for working out. So we're going to go over our overall thoughts, the good, the bad, the just facts of our trip to Barbados. And this is our second trip. We've been to St. Lucia last year, and this is our second trip. So this was to Barbados. So it's kind of hard not to compare the two because we had a phenomenal, great, amazing, spectacular experience in St. Lucia, and Barbados just kind of fell short in some areas. So let's start with the pros first so we don't seem like we're just negative Nancy the whole time, and then we'll go over the negatives after because there's a lot of negatives. One of the first pros, our room was freaking huge. Like, there's so much room in there. Kayley brought her iPad and we were doing yoga and Pilates in the morning, and then we go to the gym. So the huge room was definitely a plus for us.
Yeah, and the extra bedding that they stock in the closet was great to stretch and do yoga on the floor.
Yeah, so room was awesome. Have really no complaints about the room.
Service was amazing. She was in there cleaning and might have been one of the happiest people we met the entire time there. Noelle was so happy and so excited to see us every time we came back to our room.
And we actually, at the end of your trip, you can go and get like envelopes and tip out whoever you want. Typically it's just the bartender, or not the bartender, typically it's just the butler service, but we actually ended up giving Noelle a tip because she was just a ray of sunshine every single day.
Yeah, I really loved her.
Another cool thing was in the ocean, they had this massive breaker wall, so there were like essentially no waves that would come past that, and the water was crystal clear, nice and blue. It was just absolutely beautiful. Food was amazing. That's one thing that Barbados had over St. Lucia. Their food was phenomenal.
I mean, I don't even necessarily love Chinese food or Indian food, and it was out of this world delicious. The steam buns and the shrimp curry he had, oh my goodness, so good. The naan bread, I probably could have sat there and ate multiple things of naan bread.
I think the only thing we didn't like, which you saw in the video, was that French toast. And I think it was just the bread that they used. It cooked the outside of it, but did not cook the inside. So
yeah, it was an orange spiced
nutmeg.
Yeah,
something.
Orange and nutmeg French toast. It wasn't bad flavor by any means. It just was a really thick piece of bread that didn't cook.
Yeah, it just wasn't for us. So maybe other people loved it, but we were mainly about the avocado toast, and then I love the steak and eggs there. That, surprisingly, their steak at the breakfast place was the best steak on the whole island, I thought.
Well, of the whole resort, yes.
Yeah,
better than the Chop House or the Butch's Chop House or Butch's Seafood. It was much better than both of those, actually.
Another big pro was Lover's Lane, which is their resort bowling alley. There are 4 lanes. We're both stupid and we did not pack socks, so they were kind enough to give us some socks and told us, please do not return these. We don't want your stinky socks back. But we ended up playing 2 rounds by ourselves, and then a couple that we met down there, we had them come and meet up with us later, and we ended up playing bowling with them as well.
Yeah.
I think when it's just the 2 of us, they give you a half-hour time limit, and then when there were 4 of us, they gave us a whole hour, which was really cool. We ended up staying up until 2:30 a.m. that night, and I think the lane closes at 2 a.m.
Yeah. So it closed at 2, but we were able to also finish our game because we were going slow, and there wasn't other people who wanted to bowl, so they let us just keep bowling.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the staff in the bowling alley was
They were great
too.
Yeah.
Which was, you'll hear about that in the complaint section. But Shanika, the bartender, she actually got the biggest tip out of everybody. We tipped her more than we even tipped our butlers, and even the great butler. We ended up tipping Shanika more because it was a rainy day. She just plied us with all kinds of different drinks. She was experimenting with drinks, and I don't think we had a single bad drink from her.
But anything we needed, it didn't even have to be drink or alcohol related. She was willing to help. We waited a while for water one day, and she was like, oh no, that shouldn't be happening. And so she was on top of everything. She was absolutely wonderful. And I mean, we sat with her for at least 6 hours on that rainy day. And she didn't have one complaint. Like, she was just happy to be there.
She's also another ray of sunshine. And then there's also a Beaky there that night, and a Beaky was awesome. Kayley really loved her attitude because she's just very blunt, very straightforward, and kind of just says it how it is.
Kind of like me. So
we ended up having to find a Beaky on the night before we left, and she was the one that gave us Shanika's last name so we could actually tip Shanika out after spending like 2 hours talking to front desk staff, management, all these other bartenders. Were like, screw it, we're just gonna find a Beaky. A Beaky knew Shanika, and she'll be able to help us out. A Beaky went in the back for 5 minutes, came back out and said, here's her last name, this is all the information you need to know. So a Beaky was also fantastic. I would highly recommend, if Sandals watches this or whatever, that Shanika and a Beaky would make amazing butlers, so give them a promotion. Natalie and Narissa were our A-team butlers, and they did great. We were happy with them, especially Narissa. Narissa went above and beyond. I think Narissa was on vacation in the beginning of our stay or something.
I actually think Narissa was not meant to be our butler, but closed mouths don't get fed, so I let them know how disappointed we were. And so we ended up with more butlers than we ever were supposed to. And the ones that didn't do a great job were never seen again. So I think she was kind of called in to help.
Yeah. And another great thing, if you love pools, there's a abundance of pools, more than enough to choose from, whether you want something that's chill, something that's party-like, a swim-up bar, so many different options.
Sky bar, sky pool, sky jacuzzi, action pool where you just read your book the whole time because there's nobody making a peep. The one pool was closed down, but there's so many pools and bodies of water. If you couldn't find one that suits you, I don't know what you're looking for because there's so many pools. It's crazy.
So that was a big perk too. So now we'll get into the negatives, and I feel like this Barbados trip had a lot more negatives. Maybe it's just because we were comparing it so much to St. Lucia, and St. Lucia blew our Sandals trip out of the water. But let's go ahead and dive into the negatives. So to start off, we got to the resort, and the check-in process was
completely different.
Crappy.
Yeah. So when we got to Halcyon in St. Lucia, they took us into an air-conditioned room, gave us a drink, and we checked in. This time, they said, okay, you're checked in, sit out in the lobby. And it was like 90 degrees. We just got out of a car, and they left us to sit out there for 30 plus minutes in the heat, waiting for our butler to show up. And we're like, what did we do wrong this time?
And there was a club, they call it Club Sandals, which is where the air conditioning is. That was like maybe 20 feet away from us. Yeah. So I'm not sure why they didn't tell us to go in there. There was other couples that sat in the same little waiting area. So apparently we got checked in on the regular Barbados side, I think.
No, we were on the royal side.
Was it the royal side?
Yeah, we were on the royal side. Huh. But when I asked the butler about it before we left, she said, yeah, it's a little strange. The butler suite thing, Butler Elite, isn't even over here.
That's what it was. The Butler Elite is on the other side.
Yeah.
So butlers have to come from all the way over there or from whatever they're doing, because each butler gets designated to, I think, 5 guests, they said. So you're sharing those 3 butlers with 5 other guests. So maybe they were helping somebody else, but I don't really know why they would just sit us out there.
Thinking about it, I think she was referring to the Butler Elite Lounge, which was closer to the Barbados side, but it was right by the gym, and it was kind of there definitely was nowhere close to where we checked in, that's for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just kind of odd because we spent a great deal of money to be there, so it just felt like a non-luxurious experience, that's for sure.
Especially for checking in, because that was like, besides the shuttle picking us up from the airport, which was nice. It was a Mercedes that got us. I don't think it was planned out to be that way. I think we were supposed to get on a bus, but they just happened to have room for us, so we got to ride in a nice Mercedes to take us there. But that was a good experience. But the first experience actually on resort was, all right, you're checked in, go sit in the sun. I'm not going to give you water or anything for like 20 minutes. So not a great start for him. Another thing was that has to do with timeliness is nothing opened on time.
Nothing was on time, ever. And I don't know if it's like an island time thing or, you know, just maybe Americans are in a rush or other people. But I mean, on our final day, our bus to the airport left at noon. So we went and got to a restaurant that was supposed to open at 11. Before 11, didn't get seated. There's 4 couples waiting there. We were the 3rd couple. We didn't get seated until 11:15. I don't even think we got acknowledged until 11:15. Then they set the 4 couples. The other 4 couples got their food and were leaving before we got up and just said, forget this, because it was 11:45 and our bus left at 12. So we got up, I told the lady, I'm sorry, we cannot wait for our food any longer. And we waited another like 3 minutes and she's like, oh, okay, do you want me to wrap it here? And just kind of picked it up out of the tray in the paper, crunched it up and let us take it. So I mean, we're
was
glad
nice. The food was great.
The food was amazing, so I'm so glad I got to eat it, but it was just unfortunate. Like, I even told them ahead of time, hey, like, we have to leave because our bus is taking us to the airport, and it meant nothing.
Yeah, by the time we sat down, it was probably 11:20, 11:25, and then 11:30 by the time the server finally came over to us, and we're like, hey, we only have about 15 minutes, and then we're going to have to, like, head to go and get on our shuttle bus, and she's like, oh, okay, and I think that was the last time we even seen our server. She just disappeared after that. And then, like she said, the other 3 couples had gotten their food, eaten their food, and already left before we were like, all right, screw this, we're getting up and we're going to leave. So timeliness just, it didn't even exist there. A lot of stuff to go along with that, a lot of staff just, I'm reading my notes down here, but a lot of staff just acted like we weren't there or that we were inconvenienced.
Yeah, I've never felt like the luxurious experience was to be an inconvenience to someone. Like, we would try to say hi to everyone. One man literally grunted at us multiple times.
Twice he did that.
But people would just roll their eyes and act like what you asked was completely inconvenient, and it wasn't.
So in comparison with like St. Lucia, because we talked to the butlers and pretty much everybody at St. Lucia that worked at the resort, and in St. Lucia it's like a big cool job if you get accepted to work at Sandals, opposed to Barbados it's like
just
working at Walmart or something for us. So not saying Walmart employees aren't super friendly or kind. I've run into plenty of Walmart employees that are, but it seemed like a lot of the staff at Sandals Barbados didn't want to be there, didn't care about you, and thought you were just a stupid foreigner, whether you were American, English, Australian, whatever. They just kind of completely ignored you. That wasn't all the staff. Like we said, Shanika, Abiki, and the cleaner.
Oh, Noelle. Love Noelle.
Those 3 were fantastic, and then there were several others that we didn't get their names, but they would smile, say hi, and gave you like the feeling that they actually wanted you to be there.
Yeah.
Also to go with the first day, or no, I guess it was technically our second day. We woke up and had no water in our room because we only had like 2 bottles in our fridge, and called our butler, hey, we don't have any water in the room. If you could come by and drop off some water, that'd be great. So we went and got breakfast, I think.
I think so.
We checked out at a donut shop.
7 something in the morning that we called, 7:30 I think, and asked for water. Not gonna lie, slightly hungover from the day before. Had a lot of Miami Vices, so sugary drinks, and so I felt really shaky. And the only thing I could wash it down with was soda. And I was like,
Or juice,
yeah. Some more sugar. And I was like, man, I would just really love some water. It took over 3 hours to get us any water.
Yeah. So that was a big letdown because maybe they ran out of water or something, because we saw a giant truck in one of the back alleys, because you can like walk through different buildings, that was unloading a lot of water. But if that was the case, we just wish our butler at the time would have said, hey, we're out of waters. But
Totally.
At the same time, after we ate breakfast, we went back, still didn't have water in our room. Went to the gym. The gym had no water, so we called the butler, and he was nice enough to bring us 4 water. So they had to have water somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of obnoxious to wait 3 hours for a bottle of water.
And honestly, we're pretty understanding. Like, tell me you don't have water, and I understand. I'm probably just going to go to a restaurant and drink some of the water that they have to offer instead of a bottle of water. But, I mean, just be upfront and honest. I don't know. I just felt really jaded. And then the same butler, we asked him to just bring us a cooler of water. And then he went and set it at somebody else's chairs. So we had to go call him back and ask, was that cooler meant for us? And go take it from somebody else's chairs, which made me feel weird because, I mean, what if they thought that was for them?
Yeah.
And then we took it.
But that also carries into the next thing, which is the communication between our first 2 or 3 butlers was just...
It wasn't
there. So we like having reservations at different places because we look at the menu. We're big foodies, so we're like, okay, we want to try this spot, this spot, this spot. And we love Soy, which is their sushi place. So we're like, okay, if we eat dinner at 6, because most places open around 5:30 to 6 there, and then Soy does last seating at 9 p.m. So we're like, okay, if we eat at 6, we'll probably finish up around 7. That gives us 2 hours to go and do whatever, kind of digest our food, and then we can have like a snack of sushi. So we asked for all of our dinner reservations to be at 6. And one butler says yes in the morning, and then that evening the butler comes like, okay, so you have dinner at 6:30 or 7:30? We're like, no, we want dinner at 6, so then we can go get sushi later. It was the second night that she was supposed to meet us at the restaurant, or she was supposed to meet us at our room at 6. She didn't come. It was like 6:10, 6:15, so we're like, okay, whatever, we're gonna walk to the restaurant and meet her there. Called her, told her what we were doing. She said, okay, I'll be right there. Waited for about 10 minutes outside the restaurant, because if you've ever been at Sandals, if you have a butler with you, they just walk you in and seat you, or you walk in and get ignored for 10 or 15 minutes until somebody finally comes over and grabs you and takes you to your seat.
Basically, it feels like if you don't have a butler at Sandals, you're worth nothing. And they will just ignore you for quite some time. I mean, I think even after we walked in, it might have been like 5 minutes or so before somebody even like paid attention to the fact that we're standing inside the door. But if you do have a butler, they let it walk you in, take you to your seat, sit you down, get you drinks, get you a signature drink. Yeah, like they're like the holy grail of Sandals. But when we showed up by ourselves and just said, hey, like our butler made her reservation, but she's not here. They did eventually seat us there, and she finally showed up after we were seated and already had drinks.
And ordered, I think.
We might have.
She's about 10 minutes late from 6:30, so it was about 6:40 by the time she had arrived. So just the communication between the butlers was not there, and since she's very blunt, and our next butler after that, our third one, Narissa.
No, Natalie.
Natalie came and asked her how everything was going, and Kayla's like, honestly, not great, and kind of explained everything, and they stepped up the game after that. As she says, closed mouths don't get fed.
I mean, they're not going to know it's bad if you don't say anything. So, I mean, you paid a lot of money to be there. I think it's fair to share true experience with them and let them try to make up for it instead of just being really negative the whole time.
Yeah. Evening-wise, the entertainment was really not that great. I think the first evening we got in, she loves burlesque, and there was a girl singing burlesque, and that was great, but we'd already been traveling, we were hungry, and just wanted to kind of chill out and relax a little bit. So we saw maybe a minute of that as we walked past.
She had a beautiful voice.
And then the next night was like 80s night, and we were not interested in that. We sat there for a little bit and we're like, not our cup of tea. Maybe other people like it.
Just a lot of singing. Like, there was not much entertainment. It was just a bunch of people singing a bunch of different stuff. And although that's great because that's a hell of a talent, it's just, when we were in St. Lucia, we watched this amazing fire show. Not only did they, spin the fire and spit fire, they played limbo and they did, there was a
dancing,
bunch of,
all kinds of stuff.
It was really entertaining and enjoyable to watch, whereas the fire show we watched in Barbados was quite sad.
So that show was labeled a carnival. So
night.
we're like, oh cool, there'll be like dancing, acrobats, things like that. And we got there, I think we were like 10 minutes late, but we got there and sat down, and they had people that were staying on the resort, and they were doing like a strip
game.
show game kind of thing. Like the girls were dancing, and then they had the girls run out and grab a guy's shirt. Of course, the women are going to go and grab their husband's shirts, and then the husband had to dance for him, and it was just kind of not our cup of tea.
I mean, I didn't think it was acrobats. I knew carnival meant like Caribbean carnival. They dress up very, very flashy, and they dance, and it's usually pretty sexy and romantic, like dancing and stuff. And nope, it was just some girl with a fake butt shaking it for one thing, and then they just made other people join her. I don't know. It was really not entertaining, to be honest.
Yeah. And we weren't the only ones that felt that way. We had multiple friends that had went to the show also, and we're like, not what I thought a carnival was going to be.
Yeah, and then like in St. Lucia, they had foam pool parties. They had like white nights, like dress in all white and have a party. There was like a chocolate night or something. I don't know. There was just these actual entertaining things. And like in St. Lucia, they gave us random pineapple or coconuts that they chopped the tops off so you could drink coconut water. And I mean, there was food and drinks where you never even knew you wanted food or drinks. And it was just, this felt so not luxurious compared to that.
In St. Lucia, it just felt like they went the extra mile every single day. And Barbados was kind of like, all right, here's a ton of different pools, and there's bars everywhere, and really good food, and that's it. Enjoy. Unless you want to pay for extra for excursions and stuff, which we didn't really want to leave the resorts. So another thing was we had 2 days of rain. Can't blame you about the rain or anything, but the 2 swim-up bars that we actually enjoyed, one of the swim-up bars, both swim-up bars are closed if it rains even the slightest bit. They said it was because of like a safety hazard or something in case it gets slippery down there, but really there's no water, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, it was just disappointing because finally the rain went away and it was nice enough to go out and like go into a pool, but the swim-up bars were all closed. And the one pool was really clean, but the other swim-up bar on the Barbados side was dirty. It was awful. And I mean, I don't think I seen one person cleaning, but there was so much crap in the pool. It was just awful to even be in it. It was quite disturbing.
Yeah, so we didn't want to go in there. I think we ended up just going to bed that night and just calling it a day because we were both kind of grumpy by the time that happened. And we couldn't find Shanika, so we were even more grumpy. We're like, we can't have a good drink. Where's Shanika? One last complaint. I know this is getting a little bit long-winded with the complaints, but we just want to we gave you the pros. We're giving you an honest review on the complaints as well. The checkout situation was not okay either. So you drop off your luggage, they write your name down and everything, and then they have you load up in this hot bus. They turn off the bus because of their new energy initiative.
Sandals Eco Initiative or something, Green Initiative. Sounds lovely until you're the sardine in the bus who can't breathe.
Yeah, so the bus was extremely hot. They turned off the AC and completely turned off the bus and said, okay, once we load up your bags, then we'll turn back on the bus and then we leave. So we were in the bus for about 10, 15 minutes and then we looked out the window. I'm like, where are they even loading our bags? Because they're not loading them onto ours. They load them in a completely different bus. So I don't know why they had us get on this shuttle before they loaded that up. You would think they'd load up the other van, and even if they let that van leave first, because the idea is to have your bags get to the airport first and they can start unloading it. That way when you hop off, they're not clogging up everything. But why not load up our stuff and then have us load up and then we all leave? Instead, they had us sit in a van for about 10-15 minutes, which
in a bus,
the majority of people hop off anyway.
There was like 40 people on this bus, and it was so hot. We were all profusely sweating. We're all trying to like breathe. Some of us were getting off the bus. Of course, the instant I stepped off the bus, they're like, all right, we're ready to go. And I was like, oh goodness.
She's got the bladder size of a gerbil, so she's like running to the bathroom. Like, I knew this was going to happen.
But it just made you feel so claustrophobic. If you're claustrophobic, you'll totally know what I mean. You felt like you were suffocating in this bus because they refused to turn it on for the air conditioning. So they just should not have allowed us to get on this bus until they were about ready to go, because that was absolutely awful. Like, it just left the nastiest taste in our mouths for this Sandals, because I mean, we already had plenty of negatives, but we were really trying to scrape for the best out of this, and then that just was like, nope.
All right, I'm ready to be home.
Yeah, we don't need this again. So.
And then, not a negative, not a con, just something that we noticed. We're more introverted people. It was just a lot of people there.
Well, yeah, somebody else actually brought this up to us. So most of the Sandals are pretty small and intimate. This was huge. Like, and there's so many people because you have the Barbados side and the Royal Barbados side. So you have tons and tons of people. This was the least intimate thing we could have done. It felt like we were at like Universal Studios hanging out with all these people. Like, it was just so many people, not even remotely close to being intimate.
Yeah, so if you're looking for something a little bit more intimate, I would definitely suggest checking out St. Lucia Halcyon. Yeah. If you're more into having a lot of people and
more party,
I guess, yeah, then Barbados might be the place for you. Yeah. Just keep in mind, if you've been to Sandals and had that luxurious and felt like you were being like toted over and just showered with affection, people reaching out to you and trying to like make your trip awesome, probably not want to go to Barbados, or at least lower your standards.
And they might have just been understaffed, which also could be true, but I don't know what they could have done to fix it. Maybe just been more like upfront about, yeah, you might have paid all this money, but your experience may not be as great as you would like it to be. I don't honestly know. Given all this, I would probably only give it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars if I had to. And I'd give St. Lucia Halcyon like a 4.5. But I would give it a couple years and maybe try Barbados again. Knowing what we know, I mean, we'll reset our expectations. Like, we know we're not going there for a very intimate experience or to be hand over foot treated like royalty like we were at the others. But I mean, all in all, it was a beautiful island. It's beautiful water. It's beautiful weather. Even when it rains, it's not that bad.
Wonderful food.
Amazing food. So much good food.
But yeah, so like you said, probably 2.5 out of 5 star if we had to rate it. But go ahead and we'll end on a good note and check out this awesome slide that we saw.
He's huge.